I'm Juanita Sutton, and this is a tribute speech for Frederick Douglass's life and role in present-day freedoms, for COM 111, for Dr. Copes. This battle with Covey was a turning point in my career as a slave. It rekindled the few embers of freedom and revived within me a sense of my own manhood. It recalled the departed self-confidence and inspired in me again a determination to be free. The gratification afforded by this triumph was full compensation for whatever might follow, even death itself. Those words are from a poignant writer of our time. It's from the narrative of Frederick Douglass, an American slave, written by himself. You know, Douglass was born a slave on the eastern shore of Maryland, but those words indicate that he was willing to take whatever means necessary to gain his freedom, and in the process, his manhood. You know, the point of all this is to show how Douglass's personal quest for freedom actually is intrinsic with the freedoms we enjoy today as American citizens, regardless of our race. Now, on first thought, you might think, what does the life of a man who lived 200 years ago have to do with any liberties I'm enjoying today? Yet this man's writings of his own biography was so powerful that it actually served as a catalyst to abolish slavery. And it chronicled the inhumane treatment of the slaves, including his own struggle to be free. He documented things like the murders, the rapes, the whippings, the beatings, the brandings on the part of the slaveholders on their slaves. You know, what's really remarkable about this is Douglass did this despite, or overcame this, despite his enslavement, his illiteracy, and the brutality with which he was treated. He also overcame his own fear to tell this story. And it was an accurate story of how the slaves were treated in America. You know, Douglass was an intelligent man and mostly self-taught. And he realized that other slaves had told their story, but because of fear of death, they left out important details such as times, places, dates, and the names of the people who perpetrated these crimes. But Douglass, he overcame this. He actually suppressed his own fear and pinpointed the names, places, and times that these events occurred. Now, Douglass's narrative was completed in 1845, yet it had far-reaching effects into the future, yes, even to our day. You know, the autobiography of Frederick Douglass was the most widely read of all the slave narratives, and it arrested the social conscience of the people of his day and moved them to do something about the problem. You know, the Encyclopedia of African American Heritage states that Douglass actually met with President Lincoln to discuss the unfair treatment of the black soldiers in the Union Army, their unfair treatment as far as pay, their conditions, the lack of quality equipment. And that's saying something for a man coming from slavery to be able to speak face to face with the president of this nation. You know, by means of Frederick Douglass, an American slave, people were able to chase away their unrealistic ideas of what slavery really was. And they were able to see it for the horrible event that it was. You know, today, this narrative has everything to do with a basic human right, and that is freedom. And without that freedom, no other civil liberties can really be entertained. And to prove the point, let me just ask you a question. Where would we all be if we were not free? You've already banished that thought because you've realized that it is unacceptable. Fairness in treatment, pay, liberties, laws, even one's right to choose his own religion are all pursued as rights among American citizens. And for that reason, Frederick Douglass is worthy of merit in regards to all the common freedoms we share.